What is the best peptide stack in 2026? As you know, peptides are all the rage. It seems like everyone is talking about peptides, whether it's semaglutide and Ozempic or Retta. There's a lot of talk about even BPC and CJC 1295 and Tesamorelin and all these things. What I will say, folks, and I've dabbled a little bit with Ipamorelin and Tesamorelin. These are peptides that increase growth hormone secretion. They're known as growth hormone secretagogues. And what's unique about peptides, as you likely know, is these are strings of amino acids that help your endogenous hormonal system, in the context of, say, growth hormone, increase endogenous production. And they're different from exogenous growth hormone or exogenous testosterone or what have you. So they naturally increase your body's own endogenous production of certain molecules. In the case of BPC 157, there's a compound in our body known as body protective compound, BPC. And so when you inject this, you can enhance the secretion of your own repair systems within the body. Now, I think there's this perception that these things are magical, and all you have to do is just get on peptides and you're going to start losing body fat. Your inflammation will be sequestered. You will start building muscle. But here's the thing, and this is true for anabolic steroids, this is true for dietary supplements, and this is true for peptides. If you're not doing the work, the lifestyle, the nutrition, optimizing sleep, prioritizing circadian rhythm optimization, exercise, if you're not doing all that, guess what? The peptides don't work. Now, I know this is controversial because people have lost weight on semaglutide or Retta, or they've improved their lean body mass when they take CJC and Tesamorelin, for example. But I just wanted to make this video to help you better understand that if you're not doing the lifestyle factors, there's really no reason to go on peptides. These are not magic cure-alls. You have to be doing all of the foundational work. And so when it comes to, say, CJC and Tesamorelin for increasing growth hormone secretion, you have to exercise. You have to do HIIT training as well, along with resistance training, optimizing protein. They're not just going to help you shed body fat just because you're taking peptides and still not adhering to a healthy diet. So I think this is important point number one. Important point number two is there's so many peptides coming on the marketplace. I mean, literally, there's all these companies, because you can actually go and just white label peptides from China, create a website, and start selling these here in the US. So when it comes to quality, there's a lot of questionable activity going on. And we've seen this throughout the entire sort of nutrition and fitness industry in the context of pro hormones in the early 2000s, in the late 90s. These things were made in laboratories or, people's bathrooms or kitchen sinks. I mean, who knows where these things were made? We've seen this with dietary supplements. A lot of crappy quality products, are flooded into the marketplace. We've certainly seen this with anabolic steroid use over the years where, many people are getting black market steroids made who knows where, with really poor quality. There's all sorts of websites where you can buy steroids now, and we're seeing this with peptides. That's not to say that these can't be helpful. That's not to say that you can't tremendously benefit from peptides. And I will share with you my personal experience last winter with Ipamorelin and Tesamorelin, which I got prescribed through a naturopathic doctor, Dr. Elena Zinkoff. She's been on our show. She was able to prescribe these for me, and I was actually really impressed with the stack that I'm going to share with you momentarily, Ipamorelin and Tesamorelin. But first, I just want to, help you just clear the air for this. Should you consider peptides? Possibly, but if and only if you're doubling down on your lifestyle, nutrition, exercise, fitness, and sleep. Because if you don't do these foundations, I'm telling you, you're not going to get the benefit from the peptides. So, what's the best peptide stack in 2026? Well, I think it really depends on your goals. But in my personal experience, I'm really new to this. I was a little bit curious. And this is coming from someone who I did 2 steroid cycles back in the early 2000s, my college years. I'm not super proud of doing this. Some of these, one time we did, fraternity brothers, we made fin or trenobolin actually in our fraternity house. And there was many football players that we made these for. We took cow pellets and ran them through this micronization filtering system to create tren, and bought probably sketchy testosterone and stacked test with Tren. And I put on 25 pounds in about 8 weeks. I mean, this stuff is super powerful, but I was doing everything from a lifestyle perspective. Now, thankfully, Instagram wasn't a thing back then. And thankfully, I think, God, the universe worked its magic. I hurt my back really bad and I got off that and never looked back and didn't want to go down that path. But if you're doing the work, anabolics really work. I will, just say, I mean, these things are really powerful, and peptides can be incredibly powerful. There's rumors that bodybuilding icon Chris Bumstead has, got off a lot of anabolics and is just doing peptides. So these are absolutely powerful for people who are exercising, prioritizing protein, prioritizing sleep and recovery and stress management. Really powerful. And so I was curious, I started a manufacturing facility in Arizona. I live in Washington State. I travel a lot. So my workouts are shorter. They're more intense, but the volume has gone down. My recovery is not as good because I'm on airplanes a lot. And I was like, okay, well, I'm curious about CJC and Ipamorelin. And so I worked with Dr. Lena Zinkoff and worked with a compounding pharmacy in Indiana, got some really clean peptides and so forth from her. And I'll never forget the first night that I took these. And these are subcutaneous injections. It's like 0.2 ml. It's a really small amount. My dream recall and my deep sleep improved dramatically, almost overnight. And so that was something that I thought was pretty profound. And again, why might that be the case? Because CJC and Ipamorelin and also tesamorelin help increase growth hormone secretion. They are growth hormone secretagogues. And yeah, this was just really, I thought pretty profound. And you're supposed to sort of cycle this like 8 weeks on, 8 to 12 weeks on, 4 weeks off and so forth. And so last winter I did this and haven't been, back on them since, although I am curious to possibly restart soon if I can get access to these. But I think it's just really important that we understand that I think peptides versus just straight up growth hormone might be more beneficial for people that have a history of cancer, whether it's within themselves or a first degree relative. Peptides would be probably a safer bet. I have a few friends that are in their late 40s that do have a prescription for growth hormone. And although I'm a huge fan of growth hormone and even growth hormone secretagogues and peptides, I do have someone who was really close to me recently pass away. He was on growth hormone for about 5 years and was prescribed by a doctor. Now, this individual did not do all the lifestyle stuff that I've been sort of tacitly implying that is very important for health in general, specifically response to exogenous hormones and or peptides. But he was diagnosed with a very aggressive esophageal cancer and was deceased within 6 weeks after the diagnosis. So this happened really fast. And so that, to me, made me want to pump the brakes on even considering peptides that enhance growth hormone secretion. Now, again, this is an N of 1 case. This individual didn't eat the healthiest diet, had a sedentary tech-based job, drank a lot of alcohol and things like that. But he was on growth hormone for 10 years that was prescribed by a doctor, and he had a very aggressive esophageal cancer and was literally deceased within 6 weeks of diagnosis. Okay, so just a word of caution. So, and I say this because we're hearing a lot about side effects with Ozempic and semaglutide and other GLP-1 agonists, gastroparesis and possibly blindness and things like that. So peptides are not without potential consequence. I think that's important. But, going back to my personal experience, because when it comes to fitness, nutrition, sleep, protein and all that, I prioritize that. And so I definitely experienced a nice benefit from the Ipamorelin, tesamorelin combination. So I think, bouncing around between, say, CJC and Ipamorelin or Ipamorelin and tesamorelin is a good combination for individuals seeking enhanced recovery. And for me, it was just prioritizing deep sleep because, the stress of having an out-of-state business and travel, sometimes sleep, although I do get the, 8 hours or more, I'll admit my mind is kind of racing sometimes. And there's like late night computer sessions and things like that with blue light filtering glasses from our friends over at bondcharts.com. But I have found that, these things can enhance sleep and recovery. But again, you have to be doing all the lifestyle factors. So I think that's something, that we should consider. But what am I hearing from some of my friends in the industry who have peptide-based companies, things like that? There's a great company in Canada, Peptides.ca, that is actually sourcing peptides that are made exclusively in Canada and then also here in the US. One of the peptides that I'm hearing a lot about is Kisspeptin, as well as the MOT-S. And so this is a mitochondrial enhancing peptide. It's supposed to increase mitochondrial biogenesis. Hearing a lot of really good feedback on that. Tesamorelin, of course. The CJC Ipamorelin stack, I think, is really impressive. GHRP2, tons of amazing responses from that. Now, people that take GHRP6, that was on the market, I think in like 2010. I remember, hearing from friends. Now, the other peptide, GHKCU, the so-called Glow. This, I think, is a really interesting peptide for women for increasing collagen biosynthesis and possibly a more natural way to get the same benefits that you might experience from, say, Botox without having to inject, neurotoxins into your face. I think that's something that is unique. And I've heard from friends and people that have been using this really good responses from that. So, the best peptide stack, I think, really depends on what your goals are. And also, you're going to get the most mileage or return on your peptide investment if you're doing all the lifestyle stuff. And that's really, it's not as sexy, right? It's more sexy to say, if you take semaglutide or this peptide or Retta, you're going to lose this much weight. That's what everyone wants to hear. That's not the reality. Now, the last thing that I want to say here is there is some sort of investment in the so-called peptides. And I saw this with detoxification kits I used to sell through a practitioner brand I was a representative for in my early 20s. When you'd sell a $130 detox kit, and this would be like a vegan-based protein or a whey-based protein with milk thistle and NAC and some of these different things with a food guide. When people would invest money into a program, they were more likely to then have more congruent and consistent diet and nutrition choices that would lead to lifestyle change that would then lead to better effects from the so-called detoxification. It wasn't like there was magic necessarily in the supplements they were taking. They were more bought in to the program. And I think this is where peptides can come in. People are like, look, I'm spending this much money on peptides. So I'm not going to drink alcohol. I'm not going to smoke cigarettes. I'm going to go to bed on time. I'm going to go to the gym. And so it can help be a catalyst for those lifestyle changes. And so we do see this with Ozempic and semaglutide. People are like, look, I'm on these peptides. So I'm going to do everything right. I'm not going to eat. And so I think that's the other part about the magic of the peptides. I've talked with a few friends who are taking peptides and they're like, look, I don't have the cookies and the snacks at night because I know I'm going to take my peptides before I go to bed. And you definitely don't want protein in your system. So they stop eating dinner at 7 o'clock. They take the peptides at 9 or 9:30 and they go to bed. And so in that window of time, if you know you're not going to take your peptides, well, you might say yes to the cookies, ice cream, and crackers or snacks, and then go to bed with these extra calories and the sugar and the high glycemic index carbs and foods and so forth. So I think that's an under-recognized aspect of the peptides. I noticed when I went on the Ipamorelin CJC stack, I was having dinner at 6:30 and I wasn't having any other food, and I would take the peptide at like 9 o'clock before I went to bed, and I would go to bed. And so, you're naturally compressing your feeding window and going into a mild calorie deficit. So it's kind of interesting. It's like, well, the benefits that I achieved or ascribed to the peptides, how much of that was because I was really adherent to my lifestyle changes or the peptides, So I think they can be helpful in that way as well to catalyze the healthy lifestyle changes that you really should be doing and you need to be doing, but you're not doing it because it's easier to have the cookies. It's easier to just have a bowl of ice cream, right? But if you commit to a program, whether it's peptides or a detox or whatever the thing is, you're more likely to then make consistent and congruent nutrition and lifestyle changes that improve your health. And so I think, that's the best stack of 2026 and beyond, is being very consistent with what you do. Whether it's walking in the morning, walking after dinner, making sure you go to the gym and do full body resistance training, minimum of 3 days per week, do some HIIT training. All of these things I think are really powerful. And if taking some peptides periodically help you stay committed to those nutrition, exercise, and lifestyle changes, guess what? You're going to experience benefits. And so I think that's the most important thing that we can take away from this. But yeah, I think peptides are here to stay. I think the interest in this and the availability and how peptides are going to change medicine is going to be, in the next 5 years, it's going to be really interesting, the amount of peptides that will be emerging. We are only in the infancy of this. And I see this being the most sort of transformative aspect of personalized medicine and longevity for the next 5-10 years on a minimum. Now, we don't know long-term doing all these peptides, what the consequences are, right? Are we going to have downregulation of certain systems in the body? What are the unintended harms? There's really no free lunch. I'm not sure. But I think periodically dabbling with these and seeing how they impact your recovery, especially as you get older, I think recovery definitely goes down. So that's why I was interested in the CJC Ipamorelin sac and or Ipamorelin and Tesamorelin combination. One of those two, not all of those together. I still haven't messed around with BPC 157, although I'm a huge believer in that. I think there's some people that don't really know that oral BPC 157 is actually really good for the gut. Again, body protective compound is naturally secreted in various tissues and cell types throughout the body. And when you take this orally, it's good for gut health. And of course, when you inject it, it's good for, injurious tissues in the body. So peptides are here to stay, but I'm here to tell you, and this will never change, if you're not changing your diet, exercise, and nutrition and sleep, don't expect miracles from peptides. I would like to know what your thoughts are. I appreciate you tuning all the way to the very end of this video. If you got some value, hit that like button, be sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you on a future one down the road.